guys, just a quick one because we've been rushed because another boat showed up, which was very unexpected. But as you see, Mum's been replaced with Dad. Mum's gone to look after George, her grandson, for a couple of days. Dad's back, had to drive 2.5 hours, or maybe more actually, because of traffic. But yeah, he parked up in the Esso garage there for the night. But we just spent about 10 minutes trying to get off. God, we were grounded. But yeah, a boat passed us about 10 minutes ago, because they do Sunday passengers up those 2 flights. So he must have come up Sunday because I didn't see another boat. So we've got to share these locks. Now, I don't mind sharing locks and it's all good saving water, but let's just hope he's a nice guy. Because it does ruin the experience if you've got a bit of a, know-it-all or something like that. But yeah, anyway, we're going up 16 locks, I think? We're going up the Brookwood flight here of 6, and then up
nice cup of tea.
13 more, I think.
So this is the map of the UK Canal network. Everything in red is what we've cruised before. Now we're here down on the Basingstoke Canal, of course. Today we've got to go through a lot of locks, starting with Brookwood here. There's 3 locks, and then we have a short little section before we reach the start of the Deepcut Flight, which has 13 locks on it. And this is going to take us probably all day, where we'll end up eventually at the Canal Centre, which will be about 5.5 miles and 16 locks.
Having a struggle getting in the lock at the moment.
As you can see, I opened the top paddle expecting the gates to slam shut, but they never did. So I immediately shut them straight away, and thankfully one of the rangers were around, Chris, who got straight on the case.
Right, couldn't I do us a favour and opening that gate first of all? We'll have to drag along this way. And then if that don't solve it, we'll go the other way and see what we got. Oh, hello. Yeah.
That can't have been it.
Looking like a cold foot straight away, like he's grabbed and knackered out. Right, do you want to give that side a go and we'll see if that's made any difference there.
Yeah, that's Chris. See? Yeah, that's Chris. If you come on the Basingstoke Canal, he'll probably be the one to greet you. And he's probably one of the happiest, most positive people I've ever met in my life, actually. And quite frankly, the nicest lockkeeper I've ever met too. Things were going good with our new lock buddies, Pip and Mick. They were very, very nice people and made great company. Thankfully all the locks were set in our favour, as you have to leave the locks empty. So every time we come out of a locks, one of us has got to open one of the paddles to let the water out.
Well, the bikes are hanging on by the rain cover. Just came through the Brookwood flight of 3. And yeah, there's a lovely couple on the boat next to us, or with us. They came up yesterday. And there was actually supposed to be a third boat, but they had a water leak of some sort. Chris was telling me. A really cheery, happy, lucky for a guy.
TV personality. He'll have his own YouTube channel, that guy.
Yeah, but yeah, he helped us out with the gate because it wouldn't close the bottom gates in the first lock, which took about half an hour to do. So we're about half an hour behind. It's supposed to start at 9, be done with the next flight by 3 o'clock.
Oh, what's the time as well?
Yeah, this is most of this canal is wooded.
I know, it was at Fleet when I was a lad. I used to play in the
It was probably still abandoned then, because it was restored in 1990. Eh?
Well, and I didn't see any boats on it. There was never seen a boat. And we used to play in it and fish in it and drag our nets through and yeah.
Dad's finally on the canal. He actually had an experience with it as a child. The closest canal to home. 40 minutes the end of this canal from Southampton, so we're next week going to be taking Nan and Grandad on the trip, like I did on the Kennet Navy.
They like that, don't they?
Yeah. No
I
locks
got to
this
make
time,
a pie
though.
or something, can I?
Yeah.
If he likes pie.
Steak and kidney pie or something.
Can't get it at home, so I go on the boat and have them.
Devonshire.
That was Devonshire, yeah.
West Country.
Proper Devon.
He's Amterog.
Yeah. Leaving
Oh,
Orly,
God.
I'll give him a good larping.
So yeah, we've got a little bit of break between this flight and the next. I can't remember how many. I should have my book out here. Oh, it's gone. It reminds me of the New Forest, you know, because it is close to it.
If you couldn't tell already, I've got a new toy, and that's a new selfie stick I've bought. This allows me to get above the hedgerows and get some new perspectives of the boat and get close to the water. It should really help me get some more creative shots. And here we are at the start of the Deepcut Flight. There's another 13 locks here to do, which is going to take quite a while because these locks do take quite a while to fill. Obviously I can't show this on camera, but they were very slow filling. And here's one of the other rangers. This is the guy who was supposed to actually meet us this morning, but he got a flat tyre in the van, so Chris came along. He's just come along, checking everything's going alright. He also told us to do some additional things when we leave the locks, such as putting the welly down as the lock gates are shutting, in order to push more silt over the gates to stop them leaking so much.
Yeah, this does remind me of the top part of the Chesterfield, that top flight, you know.
As more often than not, this canal is closed in the summer, but thankfully not this year because it has been so wet, hasn't it? And it still is, let's face it. But sadly the season on the Basingstoke Canal has been cut short, and you'll find out why in a later vlog, or if you're planning to do this, you already know. There's actually two towpaths through this section, which is really handy because I don't need to cross over. I can just use this one on the right hand side, which is quite nice actually because it's mostly wooded and feels so much like the New Forest.
It just feels surreal. It feels like a canal in the New Forest.
And this is when we met a boat coming down. What a surprise, eh? This is the leakiest lock yet, but the Rangers do have a little method to stop all these leaks, which works surprisingly well, which we'll find out about when we come down the locks.
As far as it will go.
There was loads of live fire going on today because we are literally right next to a barracks here. And the barracks run along the canal for a lot of its length, and it's partly why I can't fly my drone that much.
Wow.
This sign here is in regards to the fact in World War II, guards used to train recruits to swim in combat kit here.
I tried to.
It's useful, isn't it?
Well, quite annoyingly, the boat that came down had not left a paddle up, which is weird because it's more work for him to put it down, so this lock was actually against us. This wooded, beautiful section through here really does make this flight so lovely and so attractive. It really was one of my favourites, actually, of the whole canal network. But much like the Chesterfield Canal, this canal does suffer a lot with weed, thanks to there not being many boats moving. And at last, we had finally reached the top lot.
He's got someone in there.
There's someone in there. That's interesting.
So we made it to the top of the flight now, Deepcut Flight. We're going through the deep cut now. This is very deep cutting, I think 70 foot.
And there's no internet in this deep cut.
What's that?
Hockey gloves, yeah.
Yeah, this is about 70 foot in this deepest point. But we're probably going to more from the Canal Centre. The water point in, pump out rubbish, parking as well. Although the gates are closed at 5:30 or so. That doesn't matter.
That's what it reminds me of, the Shroppy.
Yeah.
Very similar, isn't it?
I think it probably will get deeper than this in a minute.
That's shallow through that deep cutting on the Shroppy though, isn't it?
That was hard work, that flight.
Yeah, that was.
It took 4.5 hours.
A lot of challenges on there, gates not opening properly, leaky lock gates. Yeah, there's all sorts.
It's a nice enough flight, it's just hard work, and the locks take ages to fill. But yeah, we had good company.
Because there's not a lot of water on here, like, normally there's a river comes in, isn't there, and feeds the canal, and then it fills it up a lot quicker, but this one, very slow.
Yeah. Anyway, we're through, and now we've only got one lock, the rest of the canal. So,
and a couple of low bridges.
Yeah. None today, because we have to prepare for them. Okay, let's enjoy the rest.
He's following us, Josh.
Well, this is Deep Cut, and it's actually called that because the village here was actually named after the fact that this is a massive deep cut. Now the village is mostly army barracks and military housing, which me and Mum tried to drive through, but of course we weren't allowed. This is a surprisingly deep cutting for the 1790s, and you'd think that, why don't they just make a tunnel? Because you have other cuttings built around the same time, like Fenny Compton, which is now a cutting, but originally was a tunnel, and is actually not as deep as this cutting, I don't think. That in there is one of the many flashes or big lakes that are part of the Basingstoke Canal, but unfortunately we can't go on them.
they are. See them? Yeah. The roach.
Engine quite good now, isn't
I've got to get off to do a swing bridge here at the Canal Centre, which is okay because I need to get off anyway, because we've got to get water here and then we've got to moor up. Annoyingly, first we had to go past the mooring to get to the water point, fill up on water and then reverse on back to the mooring.
Well, we've moored up at the Canal Centre on the Basingstoke Canal. It's actually really nice here. Busy. Yeah, it's got water pump out house and parking, but parking does close between 5 o'clock at night and half 8 in the morning, which might be a problem, we don't know yet. Yeah, it's got camping, lovely campsite here. Yeah, we're just moored on the offside. It's a little bit quieter than the towbar side. Still going to have people walking past your boat, just have a little look in because they're curious. But yeah, it was a nice day. I don't know, Dad's obviously tired after 4 days of working. And I'm exhausted still from all those cruises. So yeah, it was nice. It was really, really nice.
it?
Canal.
Nice canal.
Yeah.
Well worth doing.
Yeah. It's got some downsides, of course, but
Yeah, but it's
still
beautiful,
think it's
isn't it?
worth it.
It's shallow, but it's beautiful. It's wooded all the way along. Some lovely trees, wildflowers. Yeah, it's nice.
So while we're here, Dad's gonna try and get some painting done on the side of the boat, and I've got so much editing.
The panels,
to
the
do.
big, large red panels, have got to be painted, but because they're fading out. But they usually last a couple of years, 2.5 years. I give them a refresh paint job, but they're the worst. Once you get them out of the way, the rest is fairly easy. They're the worst because you have to make sure you get it right because it's a large panel.
I'd like to say thank you to Tim and Sue Jackson for
Everything.
helping us out with the van now. For Christ's sake, I don't know what that was.
Oh.
Anyway, the saga continues with the van, both with the crash that happened all the way back in, I don't even know when, March 1981 or something. But
I'm just going to repair it myself.
the guy who's going to do that, and we got the okay from the insurance, last time he spoke to us about a month ago saying, oh, I'm buying the parts. Haven't heard from him since, not picking up the phone, doesn't want the job. So now we've got to go through insurance again and ask them if we can do it through them, which is going to take another few years probably, because you know how slow insurance is. So I don't know when that will be done. But the van, we were going to get the handbrake done by this guy called Mohammed, and that's when we told you when we were on the BCN we were going to get him to do it. But it came to it because Dad had another guy lined up. He pulled out on us and didn't speak to us. And then this Mohammed was going to do it, and then he did the same. Didn't show up. So then, luckily, Tim Jackson, who went to the show with us and bought the ticket, and yeah, really, really nice couple they are. Luckily, he's a mechanic, so he's actually helping us out. And every Saturday, the last 2 Saturdays, first Saturday was he was taking everything apart, see what parts he needed.
Yeah.
So he could order all the parts of the van. And what was it this Saturday? Or last Saturday?
Making sure that the parts he's ordered is correct by looking at the other side of the van and not on that wheel.
And then he tried to get the
he wanted to get the hub off to put the new back plates on, because both back plates and the back of the brakes have rusted out completely.
Yeah.
But his 3-ton puller bent under the strain of trying to get one of the hubs off. So it's now got to go to his friend's garage and have the hub pulled off in a garage, because you're probably going to need a 10-ton press to pull it off.
Which was fine. We booked that for next Monday, and Dad's going to stay in the van on Sunday night and do it Monday, and he's probably going to stay there because we're so far away, like 2.5 hours, 3 hours away from Dad's work. Now we are. So anyway, cut a long story short, of course, while we're down here, we're only 45 minutes away from Southampton, the Hedge End. So we're going to take down the Grandad for Father's Day on the boat, which is next week. Well, Father's Day this Sunday, but Dad's going to come back Sunday evening, and Mum's going to go and stay around Nan and Grandad's Sunday evening, and then Monday morning she's going to take them back to the boat, and we're going to take them on a nice cruise. But this is when they booked in to get this back plate taken off in the garage, but now it's conflicted with taking Nan and Grandad out on the boat. But it's perfect because we're only 45 minutes away, as close as we can get to Nan and Grandad, and there's no locks, so it's just going to be cruising. Because if we did it the week after, then we'd be on the River Way and there'd be locks, and it wouldn't be as good, it would be further away. So we've got to do it next week. Anyway.
He's doing the River Way again.
Yeah, of course we are.
How much is that for the week?
Oh, I don't know. We're only doing 2 weeks. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Ba-da-ba-ba